I haven't done anything with this recording video, whatever concept in a while, and I thought I'd get back to it finally. It's been like, what, 4 months? Ah, fuck it, I don't need to have a timeline. Um, Wasted potential. Um, I've already kind of covered them in the past, kind of, not really, with my old Sith rambling video about Darth Krayt, but I feel like giving the One Sith a bit more of just to generalize my feelings on the matter is warranted, because the legacy of the Force, or legacy, are they legacy? Whatever. The legacy comics had some strong potential, I feel like. And, plenty of people like them. Some people I know even fucking love them. It's just very hard to like some of the things in those comics. And it's not because it's different. I actually respect the comics for being set 130 fucking years away from the movies. Getting away from Mara, Luke, Han, Leia, their fucking menagerie of fucking kids with all their melodrama, Days of Our Lives bullshit.
You see this expression on my face? It's called apathy.
I think Legacy could have begun an age of Star Wars where we moved away from the movies, giving everyone the ability to do something fresh, especially since the freshness of the Old Republic and what we were doing thousands of years before the movies was strong. We got a lot of fun stories, good stories, not so great stories, but all of them serviceable. I have my problems with SWOTOR. I like some of the things it brings in. I dislike quite a few things it brings in. But, nothing is game-breaking, unlike Disney's bullshit.
Blind, deaf, comatose, lobotomy patient could feel my anger!
The One Sith, in particular, have always been very intriguing for me. When I first read about them, when I was younger, way younger, God, like 15, 16, when I first started getting into reading about aspects of Star Wars I didn't really know that much about. I maybe even started looking into them a bit earlier. And I thought the concept was so cool of a unified kind of Sith order that broke away from the rule of two, this rule of one, the different doctrines the Sith can have, and how Krayt or Asherard, Het, whatever you want to call him, came up with about the idea. It's almost Vitiate-esque, where the Sith revolve around a single person, that being me, being the Dark Lord of the Sith. I don't have a single apprentice. Technically, everyone's my apprentice. In that kind of way, I mean, every Sith kind of has their own master-apprentice dynamic. Krayt just kind of does his own thing, acts as Emperor and Dark Lord, doesn't give much of a shit about anything else going on so long as the rest of the Sith do what he wants. Do what he wants, does what he wants. Fucking speak right. God damn. The body tattoo thing, like the Darth Maul inspired everyone's gonna have a body tattoo, is kind of rad. Kind of metal, but I don't necessarily think it was all that necessary, especially, I don't know, like, I get that Krayt's got like this uniformity thing, and this is what I want to talk about. Wasted potential. I think the One Sith could have gone places, could have led to many more stories around the concept of what does it mean. But then we had the whole Darth Red thing, and what was it, Aina Solo, and I don't know, just didn't fucking do anything, but Krayt. So he comes up with a whole new concept of what it is to be Sith. And I mean, to be fair, Bane's whole order, the rule of two, the order of the Sith Lords, it fallen apart. It fallen apart, with Palpatine, because Palpatine, it fell apart with fucking, what was his name? Darth Tenebris? Plagueis' master? It fell apart with him because he had Plagueis and he had Venomius as his fucking apprentices. Apprentice-eye, whatever. His acolytes. And already, that's a single lord having two apprentices. That's not what Bane wanted. Bane wanted one master, one apprentice. And the fucking concept was already falling apart with Bane. Bane couldn't even keep his own goddamn concept with fucking Cognis and Zana. And Zana was the one who believed in Bane's rule of two and fucking killed him because she didn't believe that he was adhering to his own edict. And, of course, took Cognis on as her own apprentice, so it kind of worked out in the end. But still, the rule of two was always patchy and not guaranteed to win is, something. Basically what I'm trying to say. But Sidious came and in his own kind of way kind of believed in the idea of the Order of the Sith Lords and, wanted to succeed his master. Never really believed Plagueis would be ruling by his side, some weird kind of dual ownership of the entire Republic come Empire. That was never going to work out. Sith don't work that way. Especially power-hungry people in general. One's going to want to become the supreme, the head honcho of the team. And Sidious killed him off, and took on his own apprentices. Now, Sidious, for all of his own, Palpatine and all of his own things and wants and ideas, he himself didn't even adhere all that greatly to it. He had Maul for a long time, since he was a fucking kid, and trained him, brought him up, but then realized that Maul was not intelligent enough, really, to succeed him.
Kenobi!
Maul was a marauder, he was a fighter, but he was not deceptive, strong-willed enough, intelligent enough, and I hold firm to that statement. He was not intelligent enough, he was not cunning enough to rule as a full-on Dark Lord. Maybe he can run a fucking gang, because every time Darth Maul comes back up in comics or games or Clone Wars, it's always Darth Maul running a gang of outlaws wanting to rip, tear, and steal.
Must kill them all!
It's like fucking great, but does that prove he has like true government leadership abilities? No. Not at all. Darth Maul he can't. Dooku was too old to ever succeed Sidious. He was powerful, he was eloquent, he was cunning, he had the chops to be a political leader, but that's not what Sidious wanted. Sidious didn't want someone that old to succeed him, and Dooku didn't want to succeed him. Tyrannus, whatever you want to call him. Dooku always believed in that weird fucking Episode 3's novelization idea of what was to come after turning Anakin evil, of some galactic empire where Sidious would rule, I guess, and he would be like an apprentice, and there would be like an order of Sith underneath them, with Anakin Skywalker being like the fist of the Empire. Some weird dumb shit, and he's on his knees about to have his head cut off, and he's like, damn, that was a lie? Yeah, no shit, brother.
Good, Anakin, good. Kill him. Kill him now.
I'm the bad guy? Yeah.
And then when Vader comes along, and he's not all fucked up and put in a suit, Sidious is like, well, here's literally the most powerful being in the entire galaxy at this time, turned evil. And when he's fighting Yoda in the Senate, and he's like, you will not stop me. Fuck it, I'll just play the clip.
If so powerful you are, why leave?
You will not stop me. Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us.
When he says that, I think Sidious in that moment is just like, I've won. The Sith have won, because if you kill me here, Vader will succeed me and he'll become more powerful as he just goes deeper into the dark side. And if you don't kill me here, Vader will eventually become more powerful than me, then kill me anyways. Can you even imagine how much more powerful his apprentice can be, or what he will do for the galaxy would be? That's Sidious's mindset. And then of course Vader gets all fucked up and put in the suit, and then Sidious thinks, well, this fucking 7-foot asshole stuck in a suit with no limbs, a diminished connection to the Force simply because of his own state of mind, is not going to succeed me. So, I don't know. Sidious kind of broke the rule of two and just like, fuck it. Inquisitors, acolytes, adepts, whatever. Anyone and everyone who can use the Force, as long as you do it for me, I don't give a shit. So, to my main point, when Het comes along and turns into Krayt and then forms the One Sith, it's not really that much of a deviation from what we've been dealing with the Galactic Empire and Sidious and, you know, the state of the Order of the Sith Lords. In fact, I think Krayt was just kind of like, why the fuck are we following this if no one else is actually doing it? You know, why don't we streamline the whole one big bad ruling a bunch of little bads underneath? I think that's kind of a fair thing to do, you know, despite the fact that he talks to Darth Bane's holocron and Bane's just like, you're a fucking asshole. It's like, dude, you didn't even want to follow through with your own idea of what the Sith should be, so shut the fuck up. You know, and this started all the way back with fucking Revan, but let's not get into that. I don't have time to get into Revan again. With the One Sith, the idea that there's one Dark Lord and there's just limitless Sith kind of makes sense, especially with how they're supposed to be subservient to the will of the One. Because if you're going to have an empire, and I mean Darth Krayt's Galactic Empire is still what we're calling it, with an empire so vast, with Sidious, the way that he handled it was governors, Moff's governors, admirals, generals, warlords, and the one person to keep all of them in line to make sure none of them fucked up was Vader, because Vader was scary to everybody. So, without Vader, and I mean, Sidious, yeah, he's powerful, but he doesn't impose fear into people, except for the Imperials who are in the know. He's still just this kind of weird, crotchety, kind of old man that runs the galaxy. Of course he's a dictator, but no one really sees him as the imposition of fear, unless, again, you're in the know. Tarkin, Jar Jar, the other Moffs. Vader was the one who was like, well, no one's going to say no to Vader. No one's going to try and undermine Vader. And those who do end up dead, and in very brutal fashion. And he's just scary looking. So there's that. But with Krayt, if you take, I need someone to rule every planet, every system, every sector, every oversector, and then there's me at the center. How about, instead of governors and Moffs and all that, well, we can still have those, but there's going to be a Sith over you, a Sith over you, a Sith over you, all the way down to battlefield commanding Sith. So, if you look, it's almost like political officers in the Soviet Union. It's like, yeah, we still have the functions of the military, of government, all that normal shit, but there's a political class, and the political class are going to be injected into every level, layer of society to ensure that society runs the way that it ought to run as far as Krayt's concerned. And it's not really a political class. I mean, it is kind of a political class, but it's a religious class, because the Sith are a religion. They're a belief, in the words of Treya. So, where does the wasted potential come in? Well, the wasted potential comes from Darth Krayt and the writers of the Legacy comics, because what does Krayt really do? Well, he masterminds the usurpation of the Empire, and what the fuck was his name? Rowan Fell? And the whole Fell dynasty, which are actually Skywalkers, fucking jerk me off. But he masterminds that. Okay, cool. He masterminds the what was it? The what's the war between the war between the Empire and the Federation? I don't even remember what it's called. I mean, I'll just show it on the screen here. He masterminds that war. The Empire somehow manages to defeat the fucking GFFA, takes over Coruscant, spreads out across the galaxy, and then, huzzah! Krayt comes in and murders everybody, except not the real Emperor, he murders the fake Emperor. You know, you think someone who's that strong in the Force would be able to sense, hey, this doesn't feel like the Emperor, but whatever. Krayt is not as impressive as he could be. That's a whole. But I'm not going to talk about exactly him today. Not in that sense. I know what I'm talking about. With Krayt, he leaves the running of the Sith and the Empire to what is it, Warlock, however you want to say his name. And there's just a lot of stupid shit that the One Sith do that don't make any sense. Where, okay, everyone, rule your parts of the galaxy. Planet, system, sector, whatever. Darth Talon, Darth Nil, Darth Wirelock, Darth, what's his name? Darth Wrath? Was there a Wrath? I think there was. I don't remember. Some of their names are a little on the nose. But do that. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to implement this thing called the Final Protocol. Yeah, real subtle, Krayt. Where we're just going to kill a whole bunch of aliens for no fucking reason. Isn't the fucking point of the One Sith to do away with the humanocentrism of the old Sith orders? See, that's another thing that the One Sith kind of had that the other Sith Lords or the other Sith orders didn't really have. The de-emphasization, if I can speak, of humanocentric thought on the Sith. Because so many Sith Lords are like, well, I'm human and aliens just suck dick. But if you... And they even, put that down onto the Empire, where stormtroopers could be aliens, because there's a less of a point, less of a emphasis, like I said, on humanocentrism. I'm just repeating myself, what the fuck? Where, a Mon Calamari Sith, a fucking, what's his name, a Nogai Sith, a Twi'lek, I always forget the name of the aliens that left, a Quarian, a fucking Quarian, and that's interesting, to take away the humanocentrism, because if you think back at it, who were some of the best Sith Lords that weren't human and not pure-blooded Sith? There's not that many of them, They're very few and far between. Darth Maul comes to mind, but again, he was impressive for what he was, but was he really impressive, like, as a great leader? Not really. But, see, it's like, but again, it's all brought down because we're so focused on Krayt and what Krayt wants and what Krayt needs. And what does Krayt want? To live forever, as every fucking Sith Lord does. So, hey, I got this stupid Vong technology, biotechnology all over my body. Everyone, focus on finding me a cure for that. Until then, I'm going to sleep, wake up, go into forced trances, try and survive. And then you get Cade. And Cade has that magical healing bullshittery. And it doesn't work the way that it works for Rey. Because, again, all bow before the greatness of what Rey Palpatine, who took on the name Skywalker. Praise be Rey. Fucking... not talking about it today. Cade and his stupid magical healing shit, where he can heal certain things. He doesn't bring people back from the dead. And even then, when he heals people, it isn't completely successful healing like he healed that one Imperial Knight lady he was really into, and she had a miserable Darth Vader existence afterward. I think she even says, "Why didn't you let me die? I was ready for death." And he's like, "I couldn't let you die like that." Fucking Cade Skywalker. Is it Cade? Am I fucking it up? I'm pretty sure it's Cade. Cole was his father, yeah. So the One Sith ends up becoming less a function of government and more just a large grouping of people looking to somehow save the one dude in charge. And I mean, I guess when you rule the entire fucking galaxy, what else are you going to do except the little things that you need to do in order for your leader to survive to continue ruling you? But it feels like more could have been done. Because Crate being killed by Wirelock, quote unquote killed, you know, that made people go, oh my god, now this Chagrian Sith Lord is going to take over the entire galaxy. But Wirelock ruled like an idiot. Wirelock's like, I'm in charge now. Oh, I've fractured the One Sith. Great. Initiate the final protocol. Kill a bunch of aliens for no fucking reason. It's like, dude, why? What's the point of that? Well, I mean, yeah, the Mon Calamari are allied with, you know, the GFFA and the Republic and all the ideals of what, you know, democracy and shit. But really, you're just going to initiate some catastrophic fucking biochemical attack that's going to kill them. It's like, come on, hey man. I just don't get it. It's so on the nose too. Like, why are the Mon Calamari the Star Wars stand-in for Jewish people? Like, because the final protocol is obviously a take on, again, Final Solution. I'm not making fun of that. I'm making fun of the fact that Final Protocol is one of the lamest attempts at hiding what you're referencing in real life. You replaced one word and then committed a genocide and showed it on comic book pages. Come on, man. You're fucking stupid. And then all the underhanded tactics of Wirelock to usurp power for himself is, you know, kind of Sith doctrine. Someone who is kind of the underling trying to supersede the master and become the new leader. It's all made meaningless because Crate is magically alive because by pure will did he pull himself from the brink of death, and he basically becomes a lamer version of Scion because somehow he's able to fully heal his fucking body, which doesn't make any fucking sense. They don't really explain it all that well, other than I was dying, I was basically dead, and when I died, all of that Vong technology around me also died, kind of, except you kept my armor and this, you know, glowing shit. I don't know what it's called. And now that he's free of all that Vong shit, he's like, he's good as new. He looks like he's fucking maybe 20, 30 years old again. Why? How? How is he able to do that? And then he also learns essence transfer? Did he always know that? I don't think he always knew that. I think that's just the comic book writers bullshitting me again. And the reason why I get upset, again, because the One Sith could have done things. They could have been the new big bad in books and comics and games to come. The idea of Sith who are so devoted to a single figure. Maybe it's doomed to fail. Maybe I'm the one fucking up here. But Crate just showing up again and being like, hey, buddies, I know that I have a whole order of you to follow me, but now I have these new Sith warriors who are literally brain-dead individuals who do everything I say no matter what. And if I die, they go crazy and kill everyone around them. Why? I mean, what is the point of the whole order then? If you're just going to make a bunch of brain-dead super soldiers that do whatever you want and have these dumb lightsaber blaster things. I get it. It's because he wants to
Rule the galaxy.
Retain power, and to retain power he needs brain-dead mummies who do everything he says, but it feels like if you've been making those, you've wasted a long time building up your whole order, and it's like Crate betrayed the order that he had created because he wanted to live so badly and rule so badly, because he basically commits a purge of his own people, the One Sith. He, you know, kills Wirelock, and then when it comes to Cade, he fights him, and he gets fucking beaten by Cade, and he's like, oh, you know, that's fine. If I'm dying, I'm just going to transfer my essence into your body. And Cade fights him off, and him and Delia Blue live happily ever after. Okay, fine. Okay, cool. But then after that, this is really where the wasted potential comes in, and this is the creator's fault. Neil, Talon, the survivors of the death of Crate and the collapse of the One Sith with the what is it, Galactic Triumvirate, whatever the fuck it's called, of the Federation, the Empire, and what, the Jedi? I don't remember what the third one is. Decide that I think it is the Jedi. They decide to get rid of the One Sith, and Neil, who is always such a fucking emo, poorly represented character, is like, we have a new way of getting back at the Republic, or whatever, the Galactic Triumvirate. We're going to infiltrate every single planetary government in the entire galaxy. So, get rid of the tattoos, get rid of all the bullshit activity, what does that even do, though? If you infiltrate every single government, does that mean when you're all gonna just rise up at the same time? You're all gonna just vote to leave? What are you gonna commit a third galactic civil war? Like, maybe, but who's in charge now? Because the One Sith only operate under the strong leadership of a single figure. That's the only way it can operate. Again, like the Soviet Union almost, like Sith communists.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Are we the baddies?
It's like, who are you in charge? Because we never hear from Nil or Talon again. Not really. I think their names are dropped. I don't know. I didn't look at the Red comics because I thought that was stupid and it was not even important because the Disney bullshit was going down. And then Darth Red comes along, who's pissed off at all the Sith, and he's like, I'm gonna kill them all, and he somehow manages a plot to bring them all together and have them all killed. See, and that's the dumb thing too. The writers realized that they didn't know how to deal with the One Sith, so they came up with some stupid plot for how to get them all in one place, axe them, and then never talk about it ever again. That's a writer giving up on their own fucking plot hole that they themselves had committed to, but they were too stupid to commit to it any further. I think that more could have been done with that, and I think that's a basic statement to make. There's a thesis of this whole video. More could have been done. More could have been said. You could have had them, I don't know, break apart for all I care, but don't have some stupid plot where they all come together just to die. Have someone succeed Crate. Have someone who's interesting pop up. You know, we get cool shit with Crate when Luke is fighting fucking Abeloth in the spirit realm, where Arsharad pops up and he's like, who are you? And he's like, don't worry about it, but this is a big deal, so I have to come here and help you out. It's like, that's kind of cool. Why don't you have a new shadowy figure pop up? What was all that bullshit with Alana Solo bowing down to Darth Crate? That never fucking panned out. Was that just... Was that just Jason Solo having a fever dream? Like, nothing of real... Because the books in Legacy were building up the One Sith shit. Because I think those comics were beginning to be formulated and maybe come out later on, or just around the same time. So the writers of the books were like, well, we'll help you out, make you look big bad. But it didn't go anywhere. It didn't mean any... I feel like a broken record when I say that sometimes. It didn't go anywhere. And, you know, the Rule of Two, the Order of the Sith Lords, it went somewhere. It felt like it had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Especially with Lumia and all that shit that went down too, and her fucked up ideas of the Rule of Two. commit a blood sacrifice to become a Sith Lord. Fucking jerk me off. I think that Sith always have, to a certain degree, cults of personality. You either like their personality or you fucking find it boring as shit. For me, Sidious is a little bit boring, but I understand why he's the big bad figure of... He doesn't have to have a personality that you necessarily find interesting. He's just the big bad. And I do like Sidious. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying there are Sith who are more interesting than him. Traya is more interesting than him, in my opinion. But that's not to take away anything from him. Crate was interesting. He had interesting concepts. He had an interesting design. He had interesting thoughts and ideas. But they made him so single-minded, narrow-minded, pointless, thoughtless. And when they finally did kill him off, his whole order, kaput, didn't go anywhere. It's not my fault. And it's not... Well, if you hear a cat, that's not my fault either. It's not my fault that you didn't know how to get yourself out of the hole that you made with the One Sith, and you should have committed to it, and you did not. That's all I gotta say. Oh. Anyway, I guess, what do you all think about the One Sith? I guess I feel like I haven't really, gone too far into depth about why I feel like they're wasted potential. I just know that they are, and I know that I'm not alone in that. So yeah, tell me what y'all thought. What do you think of the One Sith? What could have been done with him? Darth Crate, tell me what you think about him. Maybe another video will come out about him one day in the future, because the last video I made about him was long and very... It was one of the worst videos I ever had to edit, even though it was edited very poorly. Blech. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Check out the Patreon. I know. Don't worry about me. I'm just chilling a little bit, just like Disney does every day. Sayonara, peoples. Republic of China.